What character RP archetype was your personal favorite? For me, it depends on the party and the rest of the campaign. I once played a fire sorcerer child who was the typical very powerful but seemingly innocent type with a big dumb brute protector. One of our very first encounters was in a small room filled with maybe 15 goblins. He rolled well on initiative and went first, only to walk into the center of the room alone as the party looked on in horror, before casting Arms of Hadar and wiping them all out. Due to his small size, he then passed out from the exertion, leaving the party to discuss what to do about this weapon in the form of a child they now had. I like the valiant but clueless knight. The full-blown, lawful good, big smile, white teeth, barreled chest, high charisma, genuinely nice guy with a heart of gold, who believes in his teammates even when it's obvious that his party is up to something outside his knowledge. My second favorite is the Disney warrior princess. Sweetness and light weaponized. A bright ray of shining sunlight. If sunlight emerged from the horde of dismembered monster corpses covered in their black ichor. I'm usually the team dad. I take care of my brood. I'm usually not driving the bus. I've been playing for over 35 years, and it's fun to let others take the lead and experience things for the first time. But if someone threatens or hurts part of my family, I'll rain hell upon them. Whether that's through weapons or magic, that all depends on what I'm feeling for the particular campaign I'm in. But I'm always the backseat force who will wreck your day for hurting my family. Absolutely a bubbly, strong idiot. I've currently got a dwarf barbarian gal who tries to befriend everyone and doesn't get it if they reject her. I'm just so sad that I'll have to stop playing her soon. She befriended a Lich King because, well, he needs a win, guys! I found an unexpected love for playing damsels in distress in campaigns with protective characters. Not completely useless damsels, mind you, but characters who have issues and openly need and want help from others to deal with them. Characters who absolutely want to be protected by bigger frontliners in and out of combat, who don't have the courage to face their issues on their own, so others have to stand up for them sometimes. They're not doing nothing. My current damsel is an excellent support controller in combat, but they're also not facing anything on their own, least of all their personal big bad evil guy, if one does exist. My experience has been that people who play protective characters really enjoy having someone who openly wants their protection, and this has led to increased RP with those protective PCs, and maybe that's why I like it so much. I like playing any PC who has a personal quest, enterprise, or ambition running parallel to the main adventure. A mercantile character trying to make sales or promote their business. A monk collecting kung fu techniques to defeat their rival. A cartogramancer dedicated to making a magical map of the entire world to become an arch-cartogramancer. Maybe a druid on a pilgrimage to meet and learn from specific forces of nature, like an ancient tree, a sentient mountain, etc., and so on. Saving the world is a blast, but I like playing characters who have another thread that matters to them, which informs their growth throughout the campaign. So far, I've been having a lot of fun in Curse of Strahd, playing a clumsy, charismatic, muscle-bound, magic-curious swashbuckler turned hexblade orc. A 7-foot-tall, strapped beast with the finesse of a freighter, and as sneaky as a sack of squeaky toys. But he can spin tales and narratives as well as he can technically carry half the party in his inventory. 16 strength, strong build, baby. He's been curious about magic throughout the campaign as the rest of the group are casters, and when my level in Hexblade got delayed, I took on the Magic Initiate feat to represent him actually figuring it out, before my DM kindly reverted my 4th level in Rogue to replace it with 3 levels of Hexblade, because it took a while for the party to reach that part of the campaign. I'm currently a 3rd level Rogue with a 4th level Hexblade, picked up heavily armored to compensate for his -2 dex modifier. Debating picking up one more level of Hexblade to get a 3rd level slot and maybe Thirsting Blade or Eldritch Smite. Now, he is a servant, cough cough, of Strahd. Our party is kind of terrorized into doing favors for him, but he's honest to a fault and came up with a code word to use if he's asked to kill a party member. It's pineapple, but nobody in the party knows what they actually look like. My absolute favorite is the outcast or the monster. Now, they don't need to be a real monster, just monstrous enough to be shunned and perceived as one. I've played a witch-type character who was an outcast due to her being a hexblood, and thus cursed and evil. We played that campaign around the time Encanto came out, and my group and I even rewrote the lyrics to "We Don't Talk About Bruno" to match the character. She was a witch of the woods, druid, down to having a forest village under her wing, where the villagers feared and worshipped her, because nothing comes for free, and certainly not her protection. Then I played a dragonborn raised among gnomes, in a country of small races with barely any tall ones, where dragonborn were known as pillaging tribes serving evil dragons. We had special rules for dragonborn. They had a short lifespan, and to prolong it and gain racial abilities, they either had to gain a blessing from a dragon of the same color or kill one and eat its heart. Yummy. My guy was a black dragonborn, often assumed to be an evil servant of the tainted chromatic dragons. But he had a heart of gold and dearly loved his tiny gnome family. Next, an Air Genasi wild magic barbarian who was originally an elf, but after a wild magic rift opened near a ship she traveled on, she was turned into a Genasi and shunned by her family. Yeah, because elves are obviously known for all of their inclusivity. Then, a homebrew race created by my GM as a take on drow, worshippers of the god of suffering, where my character used to be a slaver, but dared to go against his clan and escape with a slave he'd set free and held dear. His sister was sent to hunt them. In my next campaign, we'll be playing as yokai, and I plan on being a spirit of an abandoned shrine. I had a lot of fun playing the studious mage with my main wizard, but I also really enjoyed playing a not dumb, but extremely unwise brute, if you catch my meaning. Right now, I have a fighter who's more of a party mom type, literally a mother, so she can't help it. Unfortunately, with my current group, I often end up having to be the voice of reason to keep us on track. The Liar. I always love playing a character based around some kind of lie, misconception, or deception, whether it's them lying to the party, lying to themselves, or the world lying to them somehow. It becomes super fun in roleplay because it adds an act of mystery or problem to solve with the party on top of the main plot. I very frequently end up playing as either a grim but honorable knight, warrior, soldier, etc., someone who's been scarred by the darkest parts of the world, but holds to some form of honor, justice, or other type of code, acknowledging evil but refusing to fall to its level. Works great, especially with classes like paladins, warlocks, or eldritch knights, where in addition to melee skills, I can typically take evil magic, but use it for noble purposes. Or essentially just the party mom. Usually it has significant healing, acts as the party's moral conscience, and is always there to talk about, well, anything personal that another character may need advice on or wants to share. Or the mage, who just loves magic. This character usually has lofty goals and ambitions, but the act of casting spells brings them pure joy. When they see a new spell for the first time, they're left in awe and excitement. They often feel like magic itself has no inherent morality, like fire, for example, but can be used for good or evil, and they particularly oppose those who use magic to do terrible things, like, setting your monk on fire. I generally go for the trickster archetype and more of a chaotic good to chaotic neutral alignment, with an occasional neutral evil thrown in if it fits the group. I usually go for charlatan, urchin, noble, or criminal backgrounds. Ambitious, freedom-seeking, manipulative, and amoral to self-interested. Independent but still willing to cooperate for mutual benefit. Think Bronn from Game of Thrones or Captain Jack Sparrow, that kind of thing. I like to have proficiency or expertise in persuasion, deception, and insight, as well as stealth and sleight of hand, if I have enough to spare. I've played bards more than any other class but I've had a good number of other characters with enough charisma to scratch that itch. I absolutely love playing Trickery Domain Clerics. It's my second favorite subclass overall because it's exactly what I'm going for. Though the official list of Trickery Domain deities is somewhat lacking for my taste and doesn't quite fit what I'm going for. Well, I'm our group's DM, but I do have a couple of fun NPCs that I've enjoyed. One of my baddies was a barbarian monk who spoke with a heavy Cajun accent. He was the replacement in a pirate crew that one of my party members left. When interacting with the party, he'd be taunting and cordial in social situations, only to turn cold and ruthless in combat. I had him kick my Beastmaster Ranger's dog off the top of a building at one point. What a jackass. He was a very fun character to roleplay and play. And it was a great moment when my party surrounded him and took him down. Thankfully, not everything that dies stays dead. I love playing the curmudgeon, who hates admitting he's attached to the party. I also like playing the soft-spoken young or old man who just wants to do right by everybody. But edgy? Oh, that has to be my favorite. Traumatic backstory, hard time forming connections, naturally suspicious and inquisitive. There are so many different flavors of edge. You have noir edge, vengeful edge, hopeless, nihilistic edge. Oh, dangerously desperate edge. Oh, I love it all. My go-to character is the reckless risk taker, the kind of guy who charges down through the dungeon without checking for traps or takes a deal with a fae or a demon for short-term value without thinking about the long-term consequences. Now, they're not stupid, they're just reckless. 2 out of 3 of my long-term characters have ended up becoming warlocks because of this. One of them even lost an arm from being, well, so reckless. I've had plenty of characters die in one-shots or shorter campaigns. I like seeing what the DM had planned and the look on their face when I agree to the big bad evil guy's terms instead of fighting back. Sometimes it lets the DM show off a creative or rather simple trap, and sometimes it makes them think on their feet when I do something unexpectedly stupid. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below what character archetype was your personal favorite. We love you all, please be safe and happy out there, and we'll see you next time. Toodaloo for now.